back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we smash apart the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute chunks so we can analyze them in scrupulous detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Road to Infinity podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Kowalsko. Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been a test subject?
Oh, not knowingly.
Oh my God, that was okay, that was totally not. I was not prepared for that response. That's fantastic. Okay, so knowingly, I have not either. Mm-hmm. Clearly, people. I mean, we talk about some sort of experiment being done with people and stuff. Look, obviously, if you've ever been to college, you know that there's always different behavioral studies, or you know clearly from the history that there have been some sort of kind of funny sort of medical experiments and things like that. We also know from history
Stanford experiment and apparently the Harvard experiment. Yeah,
and there's also horrific experiments.
Oh! This is about to take a dark turn, isn't it?
This is where we have one of those episodes where we're like, hey, let's bring some enlightenment to everyone, right? So when I was doing my research for this, I thought, well, let me see if I can find something about, what's the oddest or what is the weirdest experiment. And unfortunately, I'm going to take a dark turn for a second because I had never heard of this, and I totally have to share this.
Okay.
Outside of wartime, I'm not even going to get into the crazy, horrific things that have happened, right?
Yeah.
So have you ever heard of the monster study?
I have not heard of the monster study.
This blew my mind. 1939, Davenport, Iowa, at the University of Iowa. There was a study, it was on stuttering. And basically what they did is they got 22 orphan children. They broke them up into two groups.
This is already taking a dark
this
turn.
blew my mind when I read this. So they break them up into two groups. The one group is given nothing but positive speech therapy, praise on what they're saying, how they're saying it, everything. The other group is given negative speech therapy. Now, a few of the kids in the negative group were showing signs of some sort of speech impediment. Here's what happens over the course of the study. All the kids in the negative group develop stuttering and speech impediments.
Whoa.
The crazy part is, and the reason why it's called the monster study, when they concluded the experiment and they tried to bring those kids back, they could not. And those kids had speech impediments for the rest of their lives.
Oh my God. They permanently damaged these kids.
They permanently damaged their speech.
And how long ago was this?
1939. So
39. Yeah, that sounds about right.
39.
Awful stuff was going on in medical
science.
Awful
stuff's going on in the world, right?
Yeah.
But here's the crazy thing. So again, of course, they never published it. In fact, I don't think the official apology from the University of Iowa did not come until 2001. Like the official apology, like, yeah, we did this. Now, here's the crazy. Now, that's horrifying, right? And it blew my mind. I'm like, are you kidding? But then the crazy part of it now is that a lot of people who have looked at their data has said, they've got the most complete, comprehensive collection of scientific information on stuttering.
Huh.
And what they've learned is it totally goes to what is right now more or less the modern idea around stuttering is that a lot of it does deal with the subject's attitudes, feelings, and what's influencing them to either praise or criticize them. And it blew my mind. I mean, it blew my mind, one, just the horror of this. Mm-hmm. I mean, as a test subject, we're going to get into why I'm bringing even test subjects up for this minute. Yeah. But, even out of something horrible, well, okay, here's something that maybe we can actually use for the benefit of people. And somehow we're going to turn that into this minute.
Yeah. Welcome to Sawbones.
Let's use it for good.
No. Because we're now let's pivot from that back to minute 81 of 2008's entry into the Marvel Universe, The Incredible Hulk, directed by Louis Leterrier. Let's see, we pick up where we left off, which is just a couple seconds of those helicopters coming into town. So we know Ross has arrived in New York City, maybe to catch a show. We don't know. But then we cut back to Dr. Stern's House of Horrors.
We need a shirt of that.
That's right. So we're coming at the experiment has concluded. Bruce is cured. And they're just having their sort of post-experiment talk. And while the other two, Betty and Bruce are wiped, Dr. Stearns is elated. Oh my God, he's so excited by what he saw. So he's like jumping around the room. That was the most extraordinary thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Man, he's going for it. This scene is fantastic. Betty is like really paying attention, and Bruce, you could tell, has been through it. Like, as we've seen from before, post transformation, he is like spent.
Oh, yeah.
Like, like he's just run the Boston Marathon. I mean, like, he is wiped. Betty is trying to get Dr. Stearns to focus again. Like, we need to go back and talk about what happened in there. Like, what exactly? Like, we're scientists now. Let's be scientists. Let's talk about what's going on. Then the technobabble begins. There's a lot of just him spouting off about stuff, so I had to sort of like break down everything and sort of peel back the layers to get down to some of the good stuff. So he starts talking about what he believes causes the transformation from Bruce into the Hulk. So he says the gamma pulse came from the amygdala. I'm like, okay, there we go. Let's just stop right there before we go any farther. What's the amygdala? Well, I did some research on this. I know there's a Batman villain called Amygdala, but that has nothing to do with this. Just, there's some nerd trivia
I didn't
for you.
know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's big and strong, and just
okay.
Yeah. So the amygdala is actually two pieces of the brain. There's one on either side, deep inside your brain. It's shown to perform a primary role in the processing of memory, decision making, and emotional responses, including fear, anxiety, and aggression. So this is like when people talk about like that deep down part of your brain. This is what they're talking about. So he's saying that's where all the gamma energy is located. So that's when it triggers. That's what's causing the rest of the transformation. So this is what his theory is. I don't know if that's true or not, because we'll see as the Hulk goes on through the MCU. It's not always like, full-on anger or fear or anxiety that triggers it, but this is what his theory is. Then he gets into super nerdy talking. He talks very, very fast. So I had to actually go down multiple times to actually get all of the things he says.
Well, because there's some alliteration here. A lot of words begin with A.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So he says, I think Dr. Ross's primer allows the cells to temporarily absorb the radiation, and then it abates. Okay, hold on. I think Dr. Ross's primer. So this is one of the things this movie has not talked about at all, and I only know about because I read these couple pages in the screenplay. Betty's experiment, like the stuff that she was doing, I should call her Dr. Ross because, she went to medical school. Dr. Betty Ross did something to Bruce before he did the experiment on himself. Her part of the process is something with the cells that change them to allow them to either retain or eliminate radiation. So there's something that she put together that is part of the Hulk. So she's the Hulk's mama.
She's responsible.
She is. Like so. I mean, not to throw her under the bus or anything, but it's a positive thing because she is the reason he survived. Is what Dr. Stearns is saying. He says that's why you didn't die of radiation sickness years ago. Maybe we neutralized those cells permanently, or maybe we just stopped that event. I'm inclined to think the latter, but it's hard to know because none of our test subjects ever survived. And all of a sudden, Bruce goes, "Whoa, hold on."
What'd you say?
What?
What happened?
So, but before we get to that, what Dr. Stern says off camera, he says they weren't getting the myostatin primer. Now, all the science nerds who are listening just went, ooh. And I'm going to explain to you why, because this is a really good word for them to be throwing around in here, because somebody did their homework or did what I did, which is spent 20 minutes on Wikipedia. Before Bruce has a reaction, this is what's happening, sort of like we're on Edward Norton's face. We're on Bruce like, whoa, as this line is playing. But the reason that's important is because myostatin, which is also known as growth differentiation factor 8, or GDF8, it's kind of like, well, you know how caffeine doesn't really wake you up, right? So caffeine is not sugar. Caffeine doesn't make it. What caffeine does is it goes into your brain and stops the part of your brain that says, hey, you're sleepy. So it blocks it from doing that. Well, myostatin does that, but that's for muscle cells growing.
Oh.
So it's the thing that says, whoa, I think you've gotten big enough now. We can just stop now. Myostatin. So if Dr. Ross's primer stopped myostatin from going, that's what causes the Hulk's muscles to keep growing, because it has blocked all myostatin from telling the body to stop growing muscles.
Wow.
Boom! Come on! That's a major science in a green guys punch each other kind of movie.
You know what's interesting? Imagine this movie being made today. You know this whole sequence would have had? A funky animated sequence explaining all of this.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because that's so great that, okay, I'll be honest, that blew past me, right? Like even watching it several times.
Right.
That begs for an animation.
You know what it needs? It needs Mr. DNA.
Oh, there we go.
Just thought of that.
That's
I mean,
good.
that I would say that is one of the best science exposition gags ever in movie history. Is
Oh, yeah,
Mr.
absolutely.
DNA, like who breaks down the entire theory of Jurassic Park and how their dinosaurs work.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
This whole sequence, I mean, it's filled with so much stuff. I mean, when I made the joke about absorbs and abates,
Yeah.
wow, that makes sense. Like, you're sitting here, and even if you have a modest understanding of medicine and
Which I do.
right, like
Very modest.
yes, like no, but that all made sense. This was not just blah blah blah. Blah. This
No,
was
it wasn't just like, it's the Heisenberg uncertainty compensators. It's like, no, you don't just put a bunch of science words together and have them go, I mean, I'm sure real scientists would be like, that's not exactly how this works. But for a comic book movie, that's pretty smart.
that's way good.
Yeah. So anyway, so Bruce has this big reaction. Oh, what? Did you say test subjects? I love how excited Tim Blake Nelson is in this whole scene. That he's just like giddy and like, I've been waiting my whole life for this. What I love about Stearns, the way he's playing them, is he's kind of like a mad scientist who never had the budget to actually do any mad science.
Oh, and now he's right.
Like he is
Right.
amoral.
Oh, yeah.
Like he has no problem experimenting on anybody. Basically, he's just trying to get tenure.
Right.
Like he just has, oh yeah, sure, I would make human monkey hybrids, but I don't got that kind of budget.
What I mean?
I mean, to pay my rent, I have to coach the volleyball team. Like,
Oh wait, I'm just glad you said that. His shirt, is that a volleyball or basketball?
I don't know. There's a ball on the back, but I couldn't tell. I thought it was volleyball.
No, see, I don't think it's volleyball because volleyballs normally
No?
are illustrated with the 3 patch of lines and they're kind of going in all different directions.
Okay.
Or not all different, but like more of like a circular pattern, like a basket pattern. This looks like a basketball. You know, one of the things that bothered me about this is?
Oh yeah, I guess it does. I'm looking at the picture.
Yeah, so we're looking at the picture. Okay,
Yeah, I guess it is
one.
more basketball.
Okay, forgive us. Total segue for a second.
Sure.
One thing.
This is why they subscribe.
Well, no, you're listening. Okay, we're going to talk about it. Okay, we just went crazy about the medical
Myostatin, yeah.
beauty of this. Let's talk about his shirt. So it's got Wildcats.
Yes.
It's got a ball. I think it's a basketball. Mm-hmm. It says Science Magnet.
It does.
Is that his nickname or is that their nickname? Or what is that?
I assume that magnet schools are a thing in New York. So I assume that it's a science magnet school.
Oh, wow. I thought it was like, I'm not a chick magnet.
Oh, I'm a
science magnet.
Baby.
Here's the other issue with this. And now I'm about to reveal this. I don't know if anyone caught this. So Science Magnet, I believe it's a basketball, Wildcats, number 59. Mm-hmm. You know there's a problem with that.
I don't know there's a problem with that.
Because traditionally, and I believe this is the case now, college basketball, the numbers only go in from 0 to 5. Because when referees have to call out fouls, they do it with their 2 hands. The one hand is the first number. The second hand is the second number.
Oh, so they can't do 9.
So you can't do anything from 6 to 9 because it's always
so 55 is the
5-5, right?
number?
You could do 5-5. You could do exactly. Oh, exactly right. And you could do 23, 2 and 3. You wouldn't have. And the NBA is different. I believe the NBA is different.
Well, but he's a coach.
So yeah, what I don't.
I
still see 59, and somebody, please, somebody who's a basketball, like a super basketball nerd.
I'm wondering if now this makes me think I'm ill prepared. I'm wondering if the leader first showed up in Hulk 59 or something like that. And that's why they put it on there. I see. This is why I feel like I should have done research on this, but oh well.
I may have to do that in real time and tell you what happened.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, there's gotta be a
types to find a thing, and I'm
Hulk 59
is looking
was
for it.
Published August 13th, 2003. Does that sound right?
Oh no, that would have been the second volume.
Oh, second volume. Okay, because that's the showdown between Hulk and the Absorbing Man.
Huh, nice. I'm sure that was a good issue.
Incredible.
Let me do first appearance. First appearance of leader was in Tales to Astonish number 62. So so no hope there. No help there. Tales to Astonish number 62.
If you look at the Incredible Hulk issue number 59, I'm seeing this originally printed. I don't see where this is, but it's just this monster unleashed. It's just the Hulk.
What a surprise.
Just on over. Okay. Well, interesting. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, I just thought that was odd because if it is basketball,
yeah, that
just and a college basketball, that did strike me as odd.
Because this
Odd
has
is
to have
certainly
been
the
made.
word choice to when
because
describing
Greyhaven
stuff.
University is not a real thing. So I mean, like this is a prompt.
Oh,
department,
yes.
So they were given specific instructions.
Right.
Or a graphic designer was told, "This is what we want."
So there may be some further information we'll have to figure out on 59. If somebody knows that,
Yes, please contact us. Let us know
tell us.
the mystery of the Wildcat shirt.
There we go.
So, but meanwhile, Stearns says, "Come with me." So we're excited to show them what they want to do, but we can't because now we're out on the street and General Ross has arrived.
He's arrived with a large vehicle.
Yes, did you notice how every time he shows up, his trucks get bigger? Like the first time he showed up, he was in the crappy truck that we found broke down in the favela,
Horrible van.
the horrible van, and then the second time he showed up was in the TARDIS-esque vehicle, the V150, that was bigger on the inside.
Oh, that's right.
And now he has this beautiful Oshkosh Striker. It's actually an aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicle built by the Oshkosh Corporation from Appleton, Wisconsin.
Oh.
There are 3 models of the Striker, the 1500, the 3000, and the 4500. All models are available with a snozzle capable of piercing an aircraft fuselage to dispense fire-retardant material with a cabin or cargo area. And the only reason I read that is because I wanted to say the word snozzle.
I snozzle.
Snozzle.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And who knew they made more than children's overalls?
That's right. Overalls and specialized aircraft rescue.
No, it's
from,
not.
from the same town. Oshkosh. By gosh.
Oh yeah. Jeez. Oh yes. Okay, that's awesome though, because when this did pull up, I said to myself, "Well, that looks strangely familiar." And I grew up, I had like a Matchbox of like I think one of these, but it was done in like the fluorescent yellow as like the airport support vehicle.
I know.
That's great.
Seeing stuff like this reactivates my King Tonka truck phase.
Yes.
So it's like, oh.
Fantastic.
So yeah, so it's just a redressed fire truck essentially.
Oh, okay.
That has, I mean, and they're still making them actually. So if you go to the Oshkosh website, you can see the 2020 models.
Wow.
They're all slick and sleek and still doing a good job. So.
Well, that's it. That's all that matters, right? They do their job. So good.
That's right. They sort of walk into this command center, which obviously is not really inside there. Like we've gone movie magic. We're actually on a little set.
But this one, but you definitely you could definitely see this being inside that vehicle.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
But clearly they've moved up in the world,
Right?
Because there's more screens, and as we know, more screens equals more money.
Rack mounted stuff and everything. It looks amazing.
Yeah, right?
Totally looks incredible.
Yeah. So Major Spar, God love her. She says, "What's the activity level?" And the answer is
Bah, that's it.
not revealed in this minute. We won't find out what the activity level is until minute 82.
Now you know why I went on my test subject rant. It wasn't. There really was. I mean, we're deep in the third act.
They are ramping up the tension over these next couple minutes. These next couple minutes are really on edge kind of minutes. In the meantime, if you want to know what's going on with the next reel, you can do so on all of the social media things. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. If a new one has shown up by the time this airs, then we're probably on that one too. You can find us all by searching for The Next Reel.
Not on TikTok though. No TikTok.
No.
Not on TikTok. Not on nothing like any of those. No.
You can see our sweet, sweet dance moves on The Next Reel TikTok.
I hope not.
Watch Andy shake his leg.
No, nobody. No, we're not doing any of that.
Hope you had a smashing good time. Until next time, true believers.
Bye. Oh, that was a juicy bye.